where you guys are. I'll follow you down.
Oh, yeah. Wherever you want to go.
Hey snowboarders, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Got JG here with us again for another video. Today we're going to look at bindings, which I think is probably pretty obvious because there's a bunch of bindings in between us.
Black bindings.
Yeah, a bunch of black bindings.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk about superficial things like which one looks cooler. We're going to talk about really important things like performance differences and features and materials and stuff like that. If you've seen our snowboard video or even the boot video, in those videos we talked quite a bit about self-assessment stuff and kind of knowing yourself as a rider. In this, it's a little different. Kind of the only piece of information about yourself that you need to know going into it is your actual boot size.
Yeah, you need to match up your boot size to the binding size.
Right.
And that's important. You don't want to have a binding if it's too small for your boot, you're not going to be able to fit in it. And if it's too big, then your foot's going to be moving around in the binding, and the high back's going to be too high. So matching your boot size to the binding size is the key.
Yep. So all of these boots or all of these bindings will come in different sizes that correspond to a different range in boot sizes. So that's really important. So make sure you know your boot size before you're actually pulling the trigger on a pair of bindings. And with that said, I think we can get right into these and kind of chat about some differences between them. We've got a pretty big range in price up here.
Yeah, we do.
So to start off, we have this K2 Sonic,
Yep.
which comes in at just $159.95, which seems pretty darn affordable to me.
When I look at this binding and feel it's, for at that price, it's a light binding. The ankle strap feels really good. It's nice and soft and pliable, which is going to be nice in colder conditions as well as any conditions, really.
A little more comfortable, a little more forgiving.
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's going to conform to your boot and not be so harsh feeling. It's just got a nice flex to it. The high back is good. Easy to adjust straps, which is another important thing and you can do this all at home before you go out on the first day, is put your boots on, have your board all mounted up, and make sure all the straps and everything is adjusted right, and that'll save you the time when you get to the mountain. You don't have to do that.
Right, you don't want to be doing that in the lift line.
No. But yeah, this is a great binding at that price. It's I like the look of it, and these are all plastic injected base plates, which give it a nice it's durable, but it also gives a nice flexy feel, and it moves with your boot and your body.
Yeah.
You turn,
so certainly nothing wrong with getting an affordably priced binding. It's still, great design, quality materials there.
It's great.
So stepping up, I think we jump up $15 here to that Arbor Spruce. So pretty similar price range here. What are some of the differences you notice between these two?
Just looking at the high back, like this has a cutout down the middle, which is usually done for aesthetic reasons and to lighten it up a little bit.
Okay.
Your boot doesn't really contact so much of the middle of the high back there. So if you're looking at a high back shape, but you also want to flex the high backs a little bit. This has a, not too stiff, not too soft. The ankle strap is real similar. The toe straps are similar. Weights are about
pretty similar.
So it's just a matter of preference here. It's just kind of like, this is a good looking binding too at that price.
Yeah, and pretty comparable performance between these two, I'd say.
It's like any first time rider or intermediate rider, or somebody goes not that often, those bindings are great. I personally tend to ride like a lower end, softer flexing binding because I like having all the movement of, once I'm connected to the board, and then I can control my board flex through my binding flex.
Kind of manipulate it more easily.
Mm-hmm.
So from there we have a more significant jump up in price. That's the K2 Formula, and now we're up into a $229.95 price point. And as we were going through them before we started filming, you and I kind of agreed that there were some noticeable differences between the first two bindings and that one.
Right, so as you jump up in the price, a lot of the times that is a materials thing where the base plate might have glass fibers in it. This base plate's probably a little bit stiffer than those other two. But the biggest thing that I noticed with this one is the ankle strap. On this Formula, this is a really comfortable, soft strap that, no matter if you over tighten your ankle strap, it's not going to create pressure points.
Cut off circulation to your toes.
And it's just going to be, you have to think about when it's 20 degrees or 0 out, you don't want a really stiff ankle strap because it's just going to feel like a brick and it's not going to conform to your boot correctly.
Yep.
Easy just sizing for, if you want to move your strap around a little bit, you don't need any tools. You could do it at the top of the mountain or at the bottom real easily. But a nice kind of forgiving high back too, because a lot of times high backs are so stiff that as you twist and turn, they don't go with you. But this seems like it goes with you nice and smoothly.
Cool.
And weight's great, it's super light, so it's a good one.
So, spend a little bit more money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get some noticeable upgrades in features. And that one, it's kind of the comfort of that upper strap and the on-the-fly adjustability. You said we don't want to be adjusting things in the lift line, but sometimes you need to. And on those, you just reach down and flip a lever and
Sure.
You're adjusting.
Yeah, just want to have a little pressure point or something, and you can change it up.
Exactly. So in a similar price point here with this Arbor, this is that Salomon District, I think, is next at $249.95.
So this one's real similar to the Formula, that it has a really nice ankle strap. It's a stitched ankle strap, nice and soft, very pliable, very comfortable. You can see the padding there, because if you're cranking your ankle strap down, the nice padding won't create pressure points. The high back has a little bit different shape, but it's also pretty pliable. It's nice and soft.
Yeah, that one in particular, it seemed very, very pliable.
Straight back, it's stiff, but when you, if you're twisting or doing airs and grabs, that the high back can twist out of the way, and it makes it easier to grab your board. Ankle straps, easy adjusting straps lengths as well, and these cap straps on all these bindings are similar, but some people tend to ride them a little bit more out over the toe, a little bit like mid-toe, or some even still ride them up right over the top. So a lot of these straps can do all three.
Okay.
So
sweet. Yeah, it seems like they're all kind of designed for some customization depending on how you wanna put that toe strap.
Yeah, and it's worth making the adjustments and knowing what adjustments are on the bindings and making little tweaks here and there, finding the right position for everything.
Cool. So then we're on to this Arbor, another $15 jump from $249 to $264 here, and some noticeable, for my uneducated eye in snowboard equipment, even when I pulled that one out, the first thing that I noticed was that we have a new material in there in metal that we haven't seen thus far in any of these other bindings.
Well, this is a combination of injected parts on your lower tray and your side with a aluminum heel hoop, and that's going to give you a really solid feeling on heel side turns, and there's no flexing back here that's going on with your weight or your boot. This tray also has a full padded bottom.
Yeah, that was the first one, I believe, that had
a full
padded bottom.
You can see that. And that'll just give your connection to your board, your binding to your board, a nice, it's basically a little bit of suspension in there.
Yep.
And it's good for reducing fatigue and chatter, and also on flat landings or any landings.
Yep.
That there's a different material separating your binding to your board that is nice and soft.
All those icy East Coast landings, like when after the rail you get just an icy bomb hole.
That's it.
Make it a little more comfortable.
And the step up too is nice metal buckles as opposed to plastic levers. It's a little bit more durable. It feels a little bit more precision, a little bit more precise. So those are things that you're looking for when you step up in the price like that.
Cool.
So.
And then from there we jump up to $300 or $299.95, and then $339.95. And here we have the Ride A6 and A8. And in talking before this video, it sounded like these marked a pretty significant difference, mostly with this metal frame.
Yeah, well, it's an aluminum frame and aluminum base plate and heel hoop. So it's quite a bit different than anything else that's up here. And that's just going to give you a really solid connection and feel and a lot of drive to your board from your bindings. These trays also have a little bit of a cant in them built in. So
cool.
If that's something you're looking for, I think it's only a couple degrees.
Yeah, I see that now. It's pretty cool.
So that brings your, it's a little bit more comfortable. If your stance is a little wider, it brings your knees together a little bit easier.
More ergonomically correct?
A little bit. Not super noticeable, but like over time, if you ride a lot, then it's probably better for your hips to your knee to your ankle and your back and everything. But this binding's like, this is the A6, is the high back's still on the softer side. Still not, a full-size high back, but if we go straight back, it's all there. But the real connection and the power is going to come from the A6 frame.
Okay.
Somebody who's been riding a while and charging, rides faster, doing bigger things, and just wants more precision and power to their board, then this is what this binding will do.
And fair to say that with precision and power also comes some unforgiveness, so to speak.
Yeah,
so if you're a beginner rider, probably not something that you want.
No.
That's sometimes like a hard thing to communicate, in the sense that, if you're a beginner and you have deep pockets, or you've got a big budget for your equipment, spending more money might not be always beneficial for you.
Definitely not.
We talked about that with skis a lot. We talked about that quite a bit here. So carries over to these bindings as well. Any major differences between that A6 and this A8?
You can see it in the high back a little bit, and the strap's a little bit different, and I don't think there's a in the tray. I think it's real similar.
Seems like a pretty similar design, just kind of some tweaks.
This is, it has a nice aluminum. It has a different finish to it. But all in all, very very similar.
The only thing up here with any color.
Yeah.
So that was great for me, as somebody who's fairly new to looking at this stuff. When I look at the picture of something online, it's really hard for me to pick out the differences between a binding that's $159 and a binding that's $339.
Right.
So super helpful for me. Hopefully super helpful for you guys too. Anything that you want to end with?
Again, just do your research a little bit, like maybe, once you figure out what boot you're going to go with, like research, read online, or give us a call, and we can, recommend a binding to go with your boot. So
cool.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Stiff boot, good with a stiff binding.
Yeah.
Soft boot, good with a soft binding.
Perfect. Yeah.
Stiff board.
Yeah.
Probably would like a stiff binding.
Yeah.
So, do your research. Hopefully you can find all that information, and if you can't, certainly reach out to us. We'll reach out to JG, or we'll answer it internally. JG, I can't thank you enough for joining us and explaining snowboard equipment to me. So check it out. If you haven't seen our other videos, you can listen to JG talk about boots and boards. And gosh, next time we're filming a video, we probably up at the mountain.
I hope so.
I hope so too. So we'll see you on the slopes, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.